Hello, my beautiful people. I hope you had a wonderful day today. It's Miss Sand. I'm back with another video. This time I'm going to show you how I cook my beans. So here I'm just washing my vegetables. I have to make sure I wash my onion, my green, yellow, red, and orange peppers. And then once I'm done, I'm going to be also washing my 2 zucchinis that I'm going to be adding in the beans later on, as well as mushrooms. So I do like a few veggies in my beans. It's actually a veggie dish. So those of you that don't eat meat or are sick of eating meat and you want something different, this is the best dish for you, and trust me, it tastes amazing, it's delicious, and you'll see once I'm done. So here I got I had my 2 cans of beans, I got my 1 can of diced tomato and my blue cheese. I have my spices, I got the garlic mix, I have the black pepper, and my salt. Later on, I'm actually going to be adding in regular garlic. So again, always rinse your pot, make sure it's nice and clean, and then preheat the top and make sure that the pan is heated before you put oil in there, right? So in the meantime, I'm just chopping my vegetables, making sure everything is nice, ready for when I'm ready to start cooking. So here I am just chopping away. And guys, beans, you can cook it in so many ways. Like a bean dish doesn't have to be boring. You can add in anything you want, and the best thing about this dish, you can have it with rice, you can have it with mashed potatoes, you can actually eat it alone if you don't want to have any carbohydrates. So you can, the options are endless. And beans don't have to be plain. Right? You can always make it your own and make it tasty and delicious. So I continue to chop away my veggies, and then again, I always use my olive oil. I love olive oil. I don't think I ever cook with anything else. Olive oil is my go-to oil to cook with. So I just finished chopping everything. My pan, I'm just making sure that my pan is dry, before I add in the oil and I start cooking. All right, so those are my mushrooms. I got my 2 zucchinis in the strainer there. So I had to wash everything in the strainer. So I'm cutting my mushrooms. Again, it's optional. If you want to add in mushrooms, it's up to you. If you don't want to put in mushrooms, again, it's up to you, right? You can make it your own. You do, like, there's no right way or wrong way to do this. As long as you make sure that everything is cooked. So I'm adding in my olive oil in the pan, just making sure that there's no extra water in there. Just a bit of a drizzle, not too much. All right. And next I'm gonna be putting in the onions. Again, once you add in the onions, make sure that you cook it to brown before you add in the other ingredients. So putting in my onions. So stir. So those are my onions. As you can see, it's simmering. Just keep stirring Make sure that the onions don't burn. Always watch your heat. Make sure it's on medium. If you're not sure on how high or low you should have your heat, always put it, to be safe, to be on the safe side, always put it medium, or even lower. And you'll know when the heat is too much, right? So keep stirring the onions until they brown. And once they brown, you put in all your other vegetables. So I'm gonna be adding in all my chopped peppers in there, and it becomes, guys, I wish you could smell, like the smell is amazing. So I'm adding in all my other veggies minus the zucchini and mushrooms. Those go in. Those will go in later. So have to cook that. Make sure it's nicely done. Okay. Always stir with a wooden spoon, just to make sure that everything is coated in the olive oil, right? Yeah, I forgot to show you guys how much oil I put in there, but I'm sure you noticed there wasn't much, right? I know olive oil is good for you, but still I do not use more than I need. I always make sure that I use it wisely. I don't use too much. Okay, so cover the veggies for a bit so it could cook. Now here I'm gonna be cutting my opening my beans. I have to make sure I open the beans. So again, I'm using 2 cans, but you can use 1, you can use more than 2, you can use as many as you want depending on how big of a family you have or how many people you're cooking for. And again, pour in the strainer, pour the beans in the strainer. And the reason why I do this, so I'm gonna be washing the beans. I pre-wash the beans after I take it out of the can, and this is to prevent gas. And also to clean it. I mean, the beans have been sitting in a can for God knows how long, so you just have to make sure that you wash it nicely before you cook it. I have to make sure I wash it. If you're not careful, the beans, sometimes they cause a lot of gas in your stomach. So if you don't want to be gassy, I recommend to wash the beans, to pre-wash them before you cook them, especially canned beans or any other beans for that matter. Just make sure that you wash it out nicely in a strainer before you cook it. That's just my opinion, but do as you please, whatever rocks your boat, right? Yeah, but for me, I prefer to wash the beans. I think they taste better, and I think they're good for the stomach. Okay, so wash. Make sure you wash them nicely. Leave them in the strainer so the water can strain down the sink. Right. And then I'm opening my canned tomatoes. I use canned tomatoes. You can use fresh tomatoes. It's up to you. Whatever you have. If you have canned tomatoes, feel free to use canned tomatoes. If you have fresh tomatoes, feel free to use fresh tomatoes. It's up to you. So my veggies are basically half cooked here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add in my diced tomatoes, my diced canned tomatoes. Okay, so getting a spoon. You can use a small spoon or a big spoon. I'm using a tablespoon. And here, I'm not measuring. I kind of know how much I need to put in there. You will notice when I cook, I don't measure, even if I'm putting in salt or any other. I just know by heart. I know how much it is, if I'm putting in too much or if I'm putting in too little. So I don't do any measurements. Right. And I think if you cook often, you get to a point where you kind of know how much you need to put in. Yeah, so mix it up, cover, put a cover on your pan, on your pot, cover your pot, and let it cook for a bit. I usually let it cook for maybe, a good 10 minutes before I stir. Right. So let it cook for a bit, and yeah. In the meantime, while you wait, you can do some, tidying up around the kitchen. Yeah. At this time, when it's cooking like that, I'm either like doing the dishes or wiping the counter or doing something. So, at least by the time I finish cooking, I won't have any dishes to do or any cleanup to do. Yeah. And always remember to wash your hands before and after. Right? So I'm letting it cook. Yeah, let it cook nicely. No rush. All right. Let it cook some more. So guys, while we wait, oh yes, okay, remember you have to stir, because if there's too much heat, or if you don't stir, you'll notice that it starts sticking to the pot, to the bottom of the pot. So you don't want that. Here I'm adding in salt. As you can see, again, I don't measure anything, so I'll put in salt. I just know by heart that that's enough salt. Isn't that amazing? The fact that you don't even have to think twice or take out a measuring cup to know that you've put in enough. All right, so I'm adding in my mixed garlic, and then my black pepper. Again, just a few shakes, not too much black pepper. Some people don't like spices, too much spices. I don't mind it, but I also have my limits, so I don't use too much or too many spices. I don't. And next I'm adding extra garlic. I love garlic, guys. I love garlic. Garlic on bread, garlic in everything. I think I even put garlic in my eggs. Okay, don't judge me, but I love garlic. Okay, mix it up nicely. Mix. Yeah, look what it looks like. Isn't it colorful? Look at that. Right? Nicely done. Very colorful. Okay, so just trying to find the right angle for my camera. Okay. All right, so mix it some more and then cover it again. Next, let it sit there, let it cook. Right? Let it cook. Give it time to cook, guys. There's no rush. If you are starving, and you're really hungry, this is not the right dish to cook when you're hungry. You need to eat something small, have a snack before you start cooking this, because there's a lot that goes into it, right? You know, if you want something to taste good, you give it time, right? Let it cook slow. Yeah, always have a snack first before you cook something like that, you know. It takes some time. They always say that good things come to those who wait. So wait. So here I'm gonna be chopping my zucchini. Again, you can add in zucchini or you can add in spinach. You can put in whatever you want, or you can just cook the beans as is. It's up to you. I'm chopping my zucchini, trying to get the same size. All right, cutting my zucchini. So I'm gonna be putting in 2, so I'm chopping 2. And I've already washed my zucchini, guys. In case you're wondering, I pre-washed everything before I start chopping them. Okay. So always try to get the same size. You don't want to chop big pieces and then small pieces. Make sure that it's even. Yeah. Once that's all done. Okay, so my veggies are all cooked. Now I'm adding in my zucchini. So always cook the zucchini before you add in beans. The beans are pretty much cooked. All it needs is just to be, warmed up. But the beans are pre-cooked before they're packaged or they're canned. So here, make sure you mix the zucchini nicely in the pot. It's nicely covered. Add in the zucchini and then cover your pot. Let it cook. Look at that. Look at that color. Doesn't it look delicious? It's not even cooked yet, but it looks amazing already. Okay, let it cook. Cover it up, let it cook. Find something else to do while it cooks. And then I have, as you will notice there on the stove, I also have my chopped mushrooms. I'm gonna add that in after. Once my zucchinis are half cooked, I'm gonna add in the mushrooms. Now zucchini does not take long to cook, guys. So it will take maybe a good 10 minutes and then it should be ready. Yeah. So yeah, always remember to stir. And also, when you use your wooden spoon to stir, make sure that you're not mashing up the zucchini. We want it to still be whole once it's cooked. You don't want to mash it to a point where it almost disappears into a soup-like dish, right? We don't want that. Okay, so here we're mixing again. Get your wooden spoon, stir. Yeah. Yeah, keep stirring. Just a little bit to make sure that it's not burning at the bottom. All right. Okay. Now it's coming along actually. It's coming along very well. Just a few more minutes. And guys, I also forgot to mention that I'm actually cooking rice. But the way I cook rice, I just put it in a rice cooker. Much easier, simpler, quicker. So I just put rice in a rice cooker and then it cooks on its own. And I don't have to worry about it, right? So I'm gonna be having this dish, the beans with rice. And you see, once I set it all up nicely on a plate, you see how it looks. And once you eat this, honestly, you will not eat anything else again. You know, you might find yourself becoming a vegetarian without even knowing it, right? Yeah. And this is not so you can become a vegetarian. This is if you're looking for other options aside from having chicken or beef or any other dish. Yeah, you know, you can have beans, but also a different way of cooking it. So at least you know that there are different different options and different ways of cooking. Yeah, so it's cooking. The zucchini is in, so it's cooking slowly. All right. Let it simmer. Let it simmer, let it cook. Let it cook. So soon, very soon, I'm actually going to be adding in the mushrooms. Because the zucchini is probably almost half done right now. So I'm going to be adding in mushrooms pretty soon. Again, mushrooms, I always add in mushrooms like last, mainly because they cook faster. So, and I don't want it to be like mushed. So there you go. I just added in my mushrooms and I'm gonna mix it. So this is what it looks like. Again, I'm mixing it. See, the zucchini is cooking really well. And I just love the color. Right? And I love the color. Alright, just mix it well, but don't mash it. Remember, you can mix it, but do not mash it. Otherwise, it's not gonna look appetizing at all if you mush it up with a wooden spoon. Yeah. So basically how you stir it is to make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan or the bottom of the pot. Yeah, again, let it cook some more. It takes time, but it's worth waiting for. Yeah. Again, you're gonna have to stir some more. Oh, and I'm adding in my beans this time. Okay, so the zucchini is halfway done. Actually, it's not fully done, it's halfway done. I'm adding in my beans because I want it all to cook together. So I want it all to cook together. Mix your beans with your other vegetables, and I'm gonna show you in a minute what it looks like. But guys, it looks really good. Really good. Now, I could have shown how to make rice, but I think everybody and everyone knows how to make rice. So next time, in my other video, maybe one day I'll make rice. So this is the blue cheese. Now guys, I love blue cheese. I always make sure that I add some blue cheese in my beans. It gives it so much flavor you don't even know. So I'm just putting in not too much, but enough to still be able to taste it. Yeah, the blue cheese give it so much flavor. Oh, I'm telling you, if you add in a little bit of blue cheese to your beans when you cook it, and you can have that with anything. I'm telling you, you're never gonna go back to just eating beans as is. You know, you always make sure that you get blue cheese to add in there. That's how good it actually is. So mix it nice, and always make sure that the blue cheese melts in the food, so it's not like, it melts nicely in the food and basically disappears in the food. Yeah. Okay, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let it cook for a little bit, and then I'll add in a little bit of water, not too much. It's so, usually I'll add in like chicken broth, but I forgot to buy it, so I'm just gonna add in a little bit of water. Yeah, but you can use chicken broth if you like. So this is what it looks like. And yeah, the final project. This is what my beans and rice look like, and I added in some avocado. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're able to make this dish for yourself. Trust me, once you taste it, you're never gonna go back to eating anything else. It's a whole new way of eating beans. So guys, it was so nice making this video for you. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to share with your friends, and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. All right, I'll see you guys in my next video. Toodoo.